figure it out. And then, oh, fuck, all hell broke loose. All hell broke loose. So, the only thing to do was Cody's entrance and Omega's outro. I think that's all I knew at that point. But anyway, and then after the match, I almost missed, and then Mandy told me to turn the TV back on.
Yeah, dumbass turns off the TV.
I'm tired. It's late. And I was like, okay, they're just going to do the normal, well, last year's G1 special, they did a post-match interview. It was in Japanese, and then they went to a press conference, and I'm like, why are we still on the air? Why are we still on the air for this?
Hey, Sal? Can you call Dr. Shelby, please? We need some Dr. Shelby advice.
This year, they did something different. Omega cut his post-match promo, which, by the way, is going to end up being the end of this show, the end of his promo, which I love it. And then Cody cuts his post-match promo, and then he does his whole spiel, goes up the ramp, and we're going to go off the air. And then the Girl of the Destiny, Tamatanga and Tongaloa, and King Haku, who is their dad, who people don't realize that is their dad. They come up to the top of they come up to the stage, and we're like, the Bullet Club is back together, everything's fine. Because that was the thing going into the show with the Bullet Club is fine. The Bullet Club is fine. Well, the Bullet Club's not fine because Tamatanga and Tongaloa and King Haku beat the living shit out of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And then more members of the Bullet Club came down. Their own tag partners from earlier in the show came down. They beat the shit out of them, too. And then Marty Scurll and everything. And Marty Scurll came down. And you guys should ask Pip. And then Cody came down. And it looked like one of those, whose side is he on almost? Even though JR is like a grumpy old man at this point. And not even calling it anymore. He's just a grumpy old man at this point of the show. And not calling it right. And Cody grabs a chair from the Tongas. And instead of hitting Omega, who's begging him off, he hits one of the Tongas, and he aligns with Omega. It was a crazy end of the show. But the Tongas and King Haku stood tall, and that's how the show ended. It was really fucking great.
So, for storyline purposes, there may be a match coming up?
Might be, man. But if anyone started being the Elite, I really wanted to get the audio for the show, but the audio just wasn't clear enough because they weren't on a microphone. The end of the show ended up being Elite this week. They had to cover this, obviously being the Elite. And they did this whole thing where they're having they showed pictures of the stuff, they showed some video footage, and then they cut to everybody in the Bullet Club sitting in one of the hotel rooms eating dinner. But quiet. It was almost like the shawarma scene at the end of the Avengers. And they're all just sitting, they're beat up, and they're eating. But it's quiet, and there's music playing in the background. There's somber music playing in the background. And then you hear a knock at the door, and one of the Bucks gets up and opens up, and it's Cody. And he comes in. Nothing combative at all. Omega asks the Scurll to move over. He sits next to Omega, grabs some food, and then looks at Omega and is like, so what are we going to do with these motherfuckers? And what the hell is Haku's problem? And then that was the end of being the Elite this week. I'm like, okay, that's a great way to cover this. That was fantastic.
Oh, man. I was hoping there'd be a food fight.
That was an amazing way to end being the Elite.
It's not the Thanksgiving episode of SmackDown.
Or anything involving New Day and pancakes.
Jesus.
Well, it could be like an extension of Animal House.
In all seriousness, they do shit like that on being the Elite, but this is a serious thing they had to do. This is the same show where Kenny Omega was making fun of the Young Bucks for not having psychology in their matches by holding up a textbook that says Introduction to Psychology. This is the same episode of the show that this has been on.
It could have been an extended scene from Animal House where Kenny Omega's got some cottage cheese. She goes to Cody, look, I'm a zit.
Okay,
spit it in his face.
Let's move on, please. Let's please move on.
Darn.
Because now that we have Sal, we'll continue on. By the way, Sal, we started the news in the middle, so all in and down we did already. Just so you know.
Okay, so we're at the beginning now?
I want to do something first, though. So I told you right before we went on the air, Sal, that I have a gem of an audio clip from SmackDown last night.
Uh-huh.
So, last night, we had a tag team match at the end of the show. It was Sanity and the Bludgeon Brothers versus Team Hell No and New Day. So, that's just fun on its own. So, what happened was, they had a segment in the back with Team Hell No and New Day. And Kane and Dana Bryan are going back and forth. And Big E decided to do a speech. And this is the speech. And it ends with Kane doing something I never thought I'd see coming, so here we go.
Brothers If we don't get it together, we don't stand a chance. Now, X, I need you to tap into that big brain and formulate a strategy. Are you in? Yeah! Colt, I need you to make like the Flash and run circles around these fools. Are you in? Yeah! Dan, I need you to dig deep and become the GOAT face killer! Are you in? Yes! And Kane, are you with us? I give you my word. This is a battle we'll win. And with this vow, forever has now begun. This, I promise you. Okay. Yeah! Was that in sync? So, it still applies. It still applies!
Yes, Kane is now quoting in sync.
Okay.
That happened on SmackDown this week.
What is he going to do, Brittany next?
Well, what happened was, at the beginning of the show, there was a joke going around on Miz TV that he was comparing Team Hell No getting back together with NSYNC getting back together, and Kane's reaction to that was, that'll never happen, and
Preach it, Kane.
and he said it never happened, and Daniel Bryan was like, huh? And Kane's like, and all nonchalant, like, it was so dead serious, looks at Daniel Bryan, like, well, JT's too big of a star now. It's a funny moment. I was like, okay, so that happened. But I love the callback later in the show. It was just so random. So
Oh, God.
now we have Kane doing it.
You know, I'm not surprised Kane didn't say at the end, bye, bye, bye.
Well, that wasn't the song he was singing.
Oh,
that wasn't
okay.
the song he was singing.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, let's actually do this properly, Sal. Start off with the news that we haven't covered already.
Brock Lesnar, me, appears at UFC 226 and UFC heavyweight champion Daniel Cormier.
And I do have the audio, which it's priceless fucking audio. Have you heard this yet, Sal?
I did.
You've heard this? This is fantastic. I cut the two together. It's just worth it.
I never thought I would fight him, but Brock Lesnar, get your ass in here!
Let me tell you something. I walked into this building and watched the heavyweight disasters from the beginning. Nagano's a piece of shit. Miocic's a piece of shit. DC, I'm coming for you, motherfucker!
It sounds like on Something to Wrestle With when Bruce Pritchard makes fun of somebody and overemphasizes fuck at the end of the president. That sounded like.
Brock Lesnar wins street?
Like, where the fuck did that come from?
This is what happens when he doesn't have
Paul Heyman?
what's his face
Paul Heyman
talking for
Paul
him.
Heyman cutting his promos for him. He yells, motherfucker. UFC on pay-per-view at midnight. Apparently, this happened. What the fuck's going on? So, any thoughts on Brock Lesnar versus Daniel Cormier happening? And for some reason, the freaking undisputed, the freaking Universal Champion still on WWE television. And it sounds like he's not going to be a SummerSlam, from what I'm hearing.
Wow, gasp. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Wow.
It's actually aggravating to me, actually. I'm not going to lie. It's aggravating.
To me, this is, like, predictable because he'll wrestle some, he'll go back to UFC, he retires, go back to wrestling, unretires, goes back to UFC.
Just get the damn belt off him at this point.
He's like a flipping ping pong ball. So I want to take the paddle and basically stick it up his ass!
Motherfucker.
Thank you.
Sal, any thoughts on your fellow man Brock Lesnar?
First and foremost, you need to just get that motherfucker isolated and use that.
I might have to do that. You're absolutely right.
For future shows.
I might have to do that. You're right.
Honestly, at this point, I know he has quote unquote special privileges.
Really?
But can we just strip him of the title already?
I agree.
This nuts.
No, I agree with that.
Have a nice big tournament. Have a nice big tournament. Have it end at SummerSlam,
or something like that. Yeah,
and then have a cash in, and then 2 champions in one night.
Why not? But weirder shit happens. I'm waiting for the day that Braun does cash in on Roman, because Roman will win the title, and then Braun will cash in. That's pretty much what's going to happen. Just do it already so we can get it over with at this point, you know?
Well, whatever happened to the 30-day champion complete clause where you have to compete every 30 days?
It's in a contract. It doesn't matter.
Well, there you go.
All right, let's move on. Speaking of UFC, something actually related to WWE. Go ahead.
Ronda Rousey was officially inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's a big deal. I think it's a pretty cool. It was a pretty cool thing. Honey, I know you've been coming around to Ronda. How do you feel about her going into the UFC Hall of Fame?
Meh.
Really, you're mad about the whole thing?
I don't care enough about UFC to care about this.
Okay, I'm just saying it's a Ronda Rousey situation. That's why I'm asking your opinion.
I still think Alexa was right. She's an overhyped rookie.
Oh, okay then.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're not going to be jump on the Ronda Rousey bandwagon?
Team Nia, bitches.
Fair enough. I'm excited. I think it's pretty cool.
Like a heel.
I think it's pretty cool as it happened. I mean, it's just something that's almost like closing the door on UFC for her at this point, and now she can concentrate on wrestling, which I have no problem with. She did wrestle at the Garden and have a couple matches this weekend. I think that's pretty cool. You know, so
I think she has the potential, but I don't think she's everything everyone thinks she is already. That's my problem.
I can go with that with you. I can agree with you there. I think she's good, and she's only going to get better.
So,
Yeah.
would you say because of her losses in UFC that maybe...
I don't think it has anything to do with UFC.
Okay.
I think
No,
it's
this has
wrestling.
nothing to do with UFC. I just think that she came into WWE and everyone is bending over backwards for her, and I feel like she's got to take her licks and she's got to earn her way just like anyone else does.
Okay, let me pose this question to the panel.
Okay.
Because of her signing with WWE, do you think that there's more opportunities for her to be in movies?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And she would be using
Oh,
WWE?
absolutely.
She's already a star. She's
Right.
already a mainstream
Right.
star.
But she's...
And I think that's big. WWE got a mainstream star. I think that's a big deal.
Right.
Part of probably the reason they got the Fox deal was because Ronda Rousey's here.
Right.
But
So then you see her using WWE as a springboard to get on to
she doesn't have to.
bigger
though.
and
She
better
doesn't have
things.
to though. She's already a big
Okay.
star.
I feel, and I love AJ Styles.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. But he didn't have to go through NXT like Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens
True.
and
True,
Sami Zayn did.
True.
And Ronda-
And it's because he's AJ Styles. That's probably the only reason
Yeah,
why.
I get that, whatever. But he still should have gone into NXT just like the rest of them, and I still think Ronda should go through NXT because she's still being...
Actually, you know, I actually like that idea, but I think it would have been cool to have her and like and Shayna Baszler and the rest of the Horsewomen come up together and do their thing together and come up with a faction, and that would have been really cool. You know what I mean?
Because if she's still being trained to wrestle by Natty, then her happy ass needs to go to NXT.
Yeah, I think it would have been cool if they had the 4 horsewomen of the MMA in NXT, and then they come up together as a faction. That would have been really cool.
Because
actually,
it's been
looking at
made
it now.
evidently clear that MMA and WWE are two different
Completely
things.
different worlds.
Right.
So why does she get all of these opportunities afforded to her? Just because she's Ronda Rousey?
Yeah, that's pretty much the reason.
Well,
the other wrestlers you mentioned, Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn and AJ Styles, you have to also give them credit for being in other organizations and being on top. And you don't want to take that away from them. That's why...
I think the only reason AJ got pushed the way he did was because 3 weeks before the Rumble, when he debuted, he was at Wrestle Kingdom in the main event. I think that's the only reason he got what he did. Otherwise, he would have been in NXT like everybody else. I think that's the only reason.
I just think what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah, I think I'm just using AJ as an example. I think the only reason is because he was in the main event of it before the Rumble.
You know, I see your point.
With Shinsuke went to NXT, so
yeah, but then you look at you look at all the accomplishments that AJ and Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn have.
No, but you can't compare.
You're missing the point though that AJ Styles is the only one of that group that didn't go through NXT. That's what Mandy's point is.
Well, yeah, I understand that.
He's the only one. And I didn't think about it.